and just tell all the people that's going to be watching this to subscribe, like, and share these great interviews from serious and silliness.
Of course. So everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the interview. I really appreciate John for having me on. So I'm gonna need you to do me a big favor. I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that good jazz, and stay tuned for more content from Serious and Silliness.
Thanks a lot, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Listen, looking forward. All right, I got Carlos Thomas Jr., brand new IFBB pro and rising star. What's up, Carlos? What's happening?
Oh man, not much. I really appreciate you having me on, John. It's like you said, you kind of had to stake me out to get me on here a little bit at the NY Pro, but I'm glad that you did. I really appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming. So for people who don't know, I'm not a huge podcast, so I have to do what I got to do to get people to come on, right? And so what I did was I bought the New York Pro. I grew up in New York, but I live in New Jersey, and now the New York Pro is in Jersey, so it's literally 20 minutes away from me. So I'm like, I buy the tickets, I make sure that they're VIP tickets, all this crap, blah blah blah, and then I just sit there and just stake people out that I want to interview. and what was funny is that I got you, right? And then I saw Jay Cutler, and I made a beeline for him, right? I made a beeline for him because he was talking to Guy Cistanino, and I've had Guy Cistanino on my show. So I'm like, perfect. Yeah, I was like, perfect. He could just vouch for me right then and there instead of, asking around, or, So, but I don't know. We'll see what happens about that. But we're here to talk about you.
Yes.
So you turned pro last year. Am I accurate?
Yes, in December at the MPC Nationals. And
you won the overall, right?
Yes, I won the overall there, super heavyweight class in the overall.
How much did you weigh at that point?
I weighed in for the super heavies, but my weight on stage was 219.
Really?
So I weighed in for the super heavies, but the next day, by the time we got on stage, depleted the water and everything, I was 219.
Well, I mean, I guess, like we say all the time, bodybuilding is an illusion because you looked a hell of a lot bigger than 219. I would not expect you. I would have thought I was expecting 240, 250, to be honest with you, because I remember seeing you and you could clear cut winner. That goes without saying. Not that there wasn't any other. Oh, you're very welcome. Not that there wasn't any other talent. Yeah, but there wasn't any. But you were the clear. There's always one in the nationals that just kind of blows everybody. You know what I mean? And last year you were that dude. How long did it take you to turn pro?
Oh man. Since I started in 2014 was my first shows. I did 3 shows back to back. So it took me from 2014 to 2021. So 7 years of overall like being interested in bodybuilding. I mean, in that time frame, there were some spans of like breaks where like I didn't compete. Finishing my undergrad, finishing my master's, starting my career, things like that, where I was just kind of focused on it. I was still bodybuilding within the realms of eating and training, but it wasn't until I kind of felt I was in a space to, okay, let's really turn this up and see what's going on. After I started, getting deep into my into my career first and settled into that.
Well, I already like you better than most bodybuilders because most bodybuilders have they're delusional, right? Don't get me wrong. The top few are gifted and going to make it like yourself, like a Nick Walker, like a Brett Wilkin. But the large majority of them think that, okay, there's no plan B. And unless you're as talented as somebody like yourself, there needs to be a plan B because bodybuilding's not paying the bills.
Oh, yeah. It's not. Go ahead.
Good. No, I was going to say for the large majority, like I said, guys like yourself, guys like Nick Walker, Brett Wilkin, who's the other guy I'm thinking of course, Labrada, all the new guys that are coming up. Yeah, obviously, those are the best of the best of the youngest, most talented. But there's a lot of guys that are out there. Like one of my very good friends, and he's been on the show twice, Vinny Galante. It took him, he didn't turn pro. He didn't turn pro until he was in his 40s, And, but, and credit to him because it just kept pushing it. And a large majority of people would have given up. And then they have to figure out what they're going to do afterwards. But so what did you get your master's in?
So I got my master's in communication. And my certificate. So my focus was in public relations, community relations.
Mm.
I got that from the Villanova University.
Wow. You went to Villanova. You got your master's degree in Villanova. Did you get your undergrad at Villanova too?
No, I got my undergrad at a smaller school in Maryland, and that's where I played like some football too. So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, I don't know if you could see them, but I got a master's degree there too.
I see it. Yeah. I got mine over there.
Oh, okay. Well, what's funny is I don't utilize them at all. I'm a sewer worker in New York City. Because one degree is in psychology, the other one is the master's is in business, and I wound up just going blue collar. But so was that part of the plan, or were you just like basically I'm going to get a career and then bodybuilding came later, or was it part of the plan like I really want to be a bodybuilder, but I don't know if I'm going to make it, so let me fucking get my education?
I think they were both part of the plan. I mean, when bodybuilding came along after football, I was just like, I thought this was like, hey, like maybe I can go pro in this. But the goal, I also made a promise to myself that I would get my master's degree. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead, get out of school, took about 2 years off. And then I got into my master's program. And that was the goal all the time, though. I wanted to get my master's, but I also knew that, hey, like maybe I got a shot at doing this bodybuilding thing. So, but when I go all in on something, I have to give it my attention. And maybe some other people could do both at the same time and, take their master's program and also prep and, be depleted. And I don't know who could do that, but if you could do that, then more power to you. But
especially at your level.
Yeah.
Especially at your level. It's not the same,
And I just decided that, hey, like I'll still do the bodybuilding. I'll still prep. I mean, I'll still prep my food and eat my food and train. But I need to focus on making sure that I solidify this, this other goal that I have. And once I knew that, I was like, okay, I'm comfortable in my routine, got my job and everything. I was like, all right, now I can give attention to both equally. And so it kind of came along and came up with each other.
Are you still working full time, or are you taking on bodybuilding as a career?
Yeah, so I'm still working full time. I'm actually thinking like maybe I would probably sometime in the future move it down to like part time. But right now things are going well where I'm able to manage the two pretty well. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. No, that's nobody's ever going to take that education and that skill away from you. So you could always be able to. You're always going to be able to make a living. Although I have a strong feeling that you're going to be one of the superstars in bodybuilding. I mean, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you're on my show. It was at the Nationals last year. It was clear as day, that you were the winner. And for people who don't know, the Nationals, the USA, the North Americans, that's the cream of the crop. Those people go there to turn pro. And if you turn pro there, odds are you're gonna make it. I don't know if you know this, but there used to be years ago, like in the 90s, I'm pretty sure if you won the overall, the Nationals, you got an automatic invite to the Olympia. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure. And that's back when King Kamali and Chris Cormier and Flex and all those guys were around. But so now who are you working with? Do you have a trainer or a nutritionist?
Yeah. So I have both. My trainer is my buddy. We started working together back in 2019. His name is Kyle Smith. He has a business called Full Access Fitness, where he does like hybrid coaching, training for like athletes. So I'm just so lucky enough that he lives in the same city as me. So we train about 3 days a week together. And my nutritionist and coach is Cash Guidry. He's out of Houston. And we're doing really well this off season. I'm very excited. I'm super excited. I wish that we could start something soon, but I know I'm making good improvements, and I'm just now hitting my stride after starting off season about 8 weeks ago. So I think I just want to keep riding that wave until we kind of solidify a show to do.
Well, when I saw you certainly look bigger than 219. So how much do you weigh now?
Right now I'm 264.
Wow.
As of today, I weighed in today. Yeah. And in good condition too. Like this is the best condition I've been in the off season. I was speaking to my coach today and I was like, wow, this probably looks like, 10 weeks out, where we're standing at. Like we look like we can jump into a prep at any moment. But I like that, and this is how I want to go about it from carrying through the off season.
Yeah, well, the new generation seems to be very keen on that, and I don't know if it's because of social media or before social media, the guys would get a little sloppy because who would see them, you know?
Right. Yeah, your Lee Priest and stuff, right?
Perfect example. The guy looked like a butterball turkey. And you know what's funny is he was a monster. He was ridiculous. Yeah, me too. What was funny is I'm a huge fan of RX Muscle. As a matter of fact, I used to run a commercial on RX Muscle. And Lee Priest is always on RX Muscle. And I remember when a few years back when the whole debate over the bubble gut thing, you know, and he would be talking about that they look like bloated fish and they don't come in shape. And I'm like, do you see yourself on off-season pictures, man? Holy shit.
Yeah, he used to get big. That's big.
Yeah, he was big. We got to the point where he was like, you know, he looked fat, you know, but he would diet down. It would be like, it's not the same person, you know, it was unbelievable.
Right. But I don't think people want to have to put themselves in a position to push that hard. You know, they're right to stay a little bit closer, and then that way you don't have to push that hard to get all that off.
I agree completely. And the new guys, I mean, listen, man, I'm 46 and you're, how old are you? 30?
I just turned 30 Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. So you're a young man, and I've been a bodybuilding fan since I'm 15 years old. And the old school guys are always talking about how the new guys aren't as good. They don't come in shape. They don't work as hard. And man, let me tell you something. That's horse shit. I've never seen guys make such drastic progress and changes in such a short period of time. Like I've never seen a guy do what Blessing did this year. Just go from looking like crap last year to winning back-to-back 2 shows in a row, blowing the doors off everybody. I've never seen that. And he's not the only one. I mean, Charles Griffin in 2 weeks looked like, I mean, it was unreal.
Yeah, he was ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I'm interviewing him soon again. He's been on my show, but he's coming back next week. And I can't wait to ask him what he did in that 2 weeks. Because from the Indie Pro to the Cali Pro, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
He was like skinless almost. Yeah, it was wild.
It really was. Did you see how far the separation went through his legs? It was all the way up to his hip.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
And he knew that his weak point was his midsection. So he does this amazing vacuum.
The
vacuum pose now.
Which is it makes his physique look like
10 times better.
Yeah, 10 times better. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He did a great job, you know, putting in the work in the off season and then coming in, because he didn't look too shabby at Indy, but he went another level.
Yeah.
When it came to the Cali.
He was not fucking around. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, he was not fucking around. But you know, don't take anything away from Blessing. Blessing looked. He was
wonderful.
I've never seen somebody put that much difference on somebody's legs before. I mean, his legs, he did not look like the same person in 1 year's progress. You know, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, he put that work in.
Yeah, he definitely did. Anyway, so what is the foreseeable future for you? When are you going to make your pro debut? Because everybody in the bodybuilding world's waiting.
I'm going to do the New York Pro next year. It's not too far from me. I'm right here in Wilmington, Delaware. So it's about they keep it at Teaneck, New Jersey. That's about a 2.5 hour ride for me. Okay. And I want my family to be able to come. I could do something later on in the year, but it seems that from what I saw from the schedule, a lot of the shows are overseas. And I'd rather just keep it I want to keep the variables to a minimum of, you know, I've never done, you know, travel overseas and for a show or anything of the such. So if it's like something close, I can, you know, easily drive up to there. Family can come as well, see me. And that's kind of almost like my home turf. It feels like I love seeing Steve and Bev, and I love going up to their gym. So I've always attended the New York Pro ever since I started bodybuilding. I've gone to every one since 2014, and that has to be my first show. It has to be. Yeah.
Okay, good. And I hope you do well, and I'm sure you will. And everybody's going to be, you know, looking forward to seeing how you look. And that's another question I had for you. There's a lot of guys that have turned pro and immediately had success, like a Nick Walker, Brett Wilkin, Lee Labrada. Do you feel any pressure to be as successful as them, as fast as the rate as they had?
No, I don't feel any pressure. You know, I guess the only pressure I have is just myself. You know, I only want to be better every day and continue to progress. So that's the only pressure I feel is just, the constant, the constant urge to improve. I want to improve. I want to come back and show them something different than they saw at nationals. My back has already improved, and I think the conditioning will be where it needs to be come next year. So that's the only thing that's really on my mind. I don't really feel the pressure of other bodybuilder success. So I'm 100% confident that we're having a great off season. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great pro debut. I think it is.
Yeah, I think so too, because everything you're saying is leading to a great debut, because you're taking it nice and easy. You're taking the year off. There's no pressure to jump into a pro show right away. You're putting the weight on. You have great people working with you, and you're already working on what you refer to as weaknesses, as you like your back and whatnot. So, and you're giving yourself the proper amount of time, which I think that, I think that's a lot of, I think that's a lot. I think a lot of guys just want to jump into a pro show, and I get it. They're excited. They want to.
Oh, I'm excited. I would love to.
I get it.
Love to.
But sometimes, not all the time. Like a Nick Walker, like he already had the size when he decided to turn pro, and then I think he did the Chicago pro right after he turned. He already had the size and so on and so forth. So I get it. But a lot of guys, they need to take time out, and it's the smarter move. It is, because it's I'm not a pro bodybuilder. The most I ever did it as an NPC show, but just attending shows. It's like you played football. It's like going from college to NFL. It's not the same.
100%. You're at the bottom again. Like you're not the big fish. You got to go back, start over.
Right.
And I 100% understand that. So I'm not going to be like delusional and think that, I can go from nationals and come back looking to the level of improvement I want to make. I needed that time off, to come back and show people that, oh man, this guy changed completely. He doesn't even look like the same bodybuilder. Right. And then from there, that also mitigates me having to do a lot of work on the back end, doing where people say, well, you still got to bring this up. And then that's a lot of extra work to do when you're 2 years, 3 years into your pro career. I rather put it in now, and then I don't have to worry about as much improvements, hopefully later on down the line, except for just refinement.
Right. What kind of things are you doing to bring you back up?
So a lot has changed. I'm gonna be honest, we don't really throw around the weights anymore. Like
really,
I used to throw around the weights a lot. Like I could row the heavy dumbbells. I could row the heavy barbells, things like that. But a lot that, sorry,
it's all right.
So, so what's really helping me out is I've just been really focusing on the contraction, controlling the eccentric, so controlling the negative portion of it. That's what I've been doing the most. Is just like, all right, let me develop that mind muscle connection, the way I have it in my arms, the same way I have it in my legs, the same way I have it in my chest. Where I can feel those muscles easily. That's how I'm just trying to develop that with my back. So we started over from the beginning. We lighten the weights up, we lighten the load up, and now the poundage is starting to increase. So now I'm like, I now have some respect for weight on the bar. I'm like, okay, cool. I look like a bodybuilder lifting now, but now I have some respectable weight on the bar, but the form isn't being compromised. Okay. So that's one thing that we're doing.
Well, one of your best gifts are definitely your arms. How big are your arms? Because when I saw you at the New York Pro, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They got to take that at 22.
Jesus, wow.
Yeah. No cold, no pump.
Wow. That's a big arm. Well, that's one thing you don't have to worry about. That's for sure.
Yeah. My dad liked to say I was born with the arms. Like I just came out with big arms. So.
Was that your father that I met?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're kind of like a package deal. If you see me, you're going to see him. He's just as interested in the sport as much as I am.
Good. That's like John De La Rosa was like with his father, with his old man.
Yeah, we ran into Pop De La Rosa.
Yeah. I've never had the privilege. I've never had the privilege of meeting him. I've met John a couple of times. I've never had the privilege of meeting his father, but he's been bodybuilding for years. So let's. I want to ask you a couple of fun questions.
Sure.
All right, I'll just throw it out. Throw some fun questions out. Gun to your head. Who do you think the next Mr. Olympia is? Yeah, no, that's a
young
rough
guy
one.
or just like anybody this year.
And it could be gun to your head. Like right now, if Ramey's not in it or Ramey doesn't win, who's the next guy?
I honestly think Brandon's not done. I think he
I
could
don't.
bring. I think he can. To be honest with you, you know, I don't want people shouldn't sleep on how they saw him at the Pittsburgh Pro. You know what I mean? My man's just chilling.
That's right.
He's just chilling. So, you
I
know, when
agree
he turns it on,
100% with
you
you.
know, that's something that you know, like, when he turns it on, it's going to be special. It's going to be something special. So, will it be easy? I don't think it'll be easy. Far
No.
from easy. It's got
Yeah.
some young guns, some
Yeah.
heavy hitters coming up there. But if you want to talk like numbers and just history, then I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. I don't think he's done. I think if Ramey comes slipping, I think he could definitely
Yep.
jump in because he looked better last year than when he won
Yes.
in 21, right? 21 he won? No, 20 he won
20.
20. Sorry. He looked better at 21 than he did in 20, except that Big Ramey, she's just too massive, he's just too much of
Yeah.
a massive human being.
Yeah.
Speaking
Well,
of
wait,
which,
no, yeah,
good.
he's amazing though. I think that it was either him, and also I don't think I don't know if he'll win, but I think he'll do very well that he did last year as William Bonac. I just had to say that. Like I'm a big fan of his physique.
Yeah,
I would like
I
I would
like
like to see
his
him come up again.
yeah, I like his physique too. And he seemed to shut all the critics up at the Arnold this
Yeah,
year. So
yeah, I
yeah,
was there. It was good.
those guys, Brandon, William Bonac, yeah, they have, and Hadi
Howdy,
Chopin.
yeah, for sure.
Those guys right now have the advantage if Ramey, doesn't come in or decides to retire, or whatever. Speaking of which, what do you think about this whole Ramey controversy going on? About it not showing up at the Pittsburgh Pro and a supplement company dumping him and his apology, a month later. What do you think of all
Yeah, I just think badly managed. You know, what I'm saying? Like PR perspective.
that?
You know, from what I learned in school, it's poorly managed PR. You know, like
Yeah.
at least I mean, I understand if things happen. You know, you might have to. You might not be able to get to the phone immediately. I don't know what happened, but if you're not able to get to the phone immediately, try to have somebody contact the people at the Pittsburgh and say, hey, this, I mean, emergency, can't make it out. Somebody like somehow, some way. And then the same thing is just like I don't know why the apology was a little bit later on, but I mean, the optics would have looked better if it was earlier. I mean, he apologized, so you can take that at face value, right? But
Yeah.
the optics of it doesn't look so good when it was 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
You
Three
know,
week 3 weeks later, and Dennis James was forced to answer the question on his own show. Where was he?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not a good look. It's definitely
yeah. It
not a
puts a
good
lot of
look.
people in uncomfortable positions. So
Yeah, yeah, and
just hope he gets back on track with everything.
yeah, you know what, man? Look, here's my opinion. I know we're interviewing you. Personally, I think Big Ramey thinks that the world revolves around Big Ramey. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, I might be wrong. Something might have happened, but I don't know if you saw the interview on RX Muscle where Dave Palumbo interviewed the supplement company owner that was with Big Ramey, and he actually said that he never even had a conversation with Big Ramey. He only spoke to his people. And then Big Ramey wasn't even doing no social media. No, he was doing nothing. So he actually dropped them. And you're talking about a guy who has all the talent in the world, and he needs two of the best trainers, nutritionists in the world. And I'm speaking of Chad Nichols and Dennis James, literally take him by the hand and spoon feed him in order for him to win the Olympia. And then he's not a good ambassador of the sport. He's just not. I mean, look, Jay Cutler still
I see.
Till this day, he still
had
pushes the bodybuilding still till this day. Ronnie Coleman still till this day. You'll still see him at places signing autographs, meeting people, doing social media, doing podcasts, and so on and so forth. And Ramey just wants no part of it, and it's sad because he's in a very, very gifted position.
Yeah, it's a very influential position to be able to, cultivate the minds of up and coming participators of the sport. You can really like bring up the next crop of people and show them how it's done and set a good example. Like Jay, I've had 3 events so far with Jay this past month or so, and it's awesome to see how he interacts with the fans, and he's so personable. And maybe Big Ramy's doing that over there in Egypt, but his presence is definitely missed here as a Mr. Olympia. So yeah, that's it's a little disheartening to see, but hey, what I'm saying?
Listen,
we still have good representatives of the sport.
Yeah, there's guys coming up, guys like you, guys like, I'll mention all the young guys, because the young crop of guys coming up is no fucking joke. You got talent coming up. You got Nick, Brett, Labrada, Derek,
Lunsford. Yeah,
Lunsford.
He's a heavy hitter.
My toll. I don't know how he's going to get down to 212. I don't.
They say he's 260. I'm like, I'm 260. So
yeah,
and I know. Yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know.
When he came out, I think Big Ramy was saved a little bit because of Derek Lunsford's appearance, because everybody was so like, holy shit, that they didn't even think of Big Ramy not showing up.
Yeah.
It
could have. Yeah. The whole image could have been a lot worse if people didn't like lose their minds over Derek showing up and looking really good.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I don't know how he's going to. And these guys are getting bigger. They're getting harder. They're getting rounder. They're just massive. They're getting. I mean, and and the improvements and the progress that they make year to year. I've never seen a generation do that much. You look at Sean Ray, who when I was growing up was my favorite bodybuilder growing up.
He's great though. He was one of my favorites. Him and Kevin.
Yeah. Sean Ray was my favorite. You look at him in the early 90s and you go all the way up to the early 2000s and you see some progress, but it's basically Sean Ray. It's basically Sean. Like he looked bigger and he was harder in 2001, 2002 when he was bald, and back when he was rocking the flat top, he wasn't as big, but it's a little bit, might have been 5 or 10 pounds. But now the guy, you give somebody like yourself a year or two with the right people in their corner, and it is just. You guys make a 180, and it's just to me, that's what I love about the sport. Like you could have a preview show, like you could be on with me and we could be talking all kinds of stuff. And then and it goes out the window because somebody from Italy shows up, or somebody from the Middle East shows up. You have no clue who these people are. And you're like, what the fuck is that? When Andrea Presti showed up at the New York Pro, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I saw him on the hallway and I spoke to him, and he's a good guy. He's awesome, and his physique has always been one that I really enjoyed. So he brought it. Yeah, I like his physique a lot, and it's these guys like making quantum leaps, right? It's just I don't even know what it is, like where I think it's honestly like the culmination of. Like you could say it was maybe the years past. Now everything. It's just like what everyone says, like the 5-minute mile, right? Like once one person broke it, everyone started breaking it. It just takes one person to start to like kind of be like, oh snap, it's possible. So like say like for instance, like Nick Walker made a quantum leap last year, right? New York Pro, Arnold, Olympia. It takes one person to to start doing that. Now everyone else is kind of like not everyone else, but people will start to believe and be like, whoa, well, maybe I can do it too.
That's right.
So they train harder, they eat better, and everything else just kind of flows with it. I think that's like the thing is like you just have certain guys set a precedence and then it kind of leads the way.
Oh yeah, no question about it. 100%. I couldn't agree more with you. And it makes the sport really exciting. It really does.
It does. I'm a big fan of the sport myself. So
me too.
I'm at the New York Pro, like on my edge of my seat, like this, like into it.
Yeah.
So, and just like you said, to see Blessing like make the changes from last year to this year, I'm like dissecting his physique, looking at him, I'm like, wow, dang, how'd that happen? That's really cool, So it's so, you're a true fan of the sport. Like it's not only like the like the social media or anything. It's like really impressive when these guys like make improvements.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how the hell did he do that?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. No, it is the truth that we're seeing it. We're seeing it, especially in, I don't know, we're seeing it especially in open bodybuilding. I don't know, maybe because there's no weight limit. so they're able to put the muscle on. But we are definitely seeing it more in open bodybuilding than anything else.
Yeah, I think Chris made that one leap. You know, when he really brought it, Chris Bumstead.
Yes,
in Classic, where he like brought it, and it was like a huge. He made that quantum leap right there, where he just separated himself completely from the pack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I don't think you really don't see it too often in the other divisions. But yeah, like you said, I think it's because it's no weight cap, so everyone just gets huge and fucking freaky.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the freak show. You know, because you got to remember when I was a kid, you know, it was Dorian Yates, and then later on came Ronnie, and you know, and you had Gunther, and you had Marcus Rule, and these were the biggest guys on. And I was a huge fan.
Marcus Rule was crazy.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. Yeah. Where today, you know, like I'll talk to the young guys in the gym. You know, like today I was at the gym before I interviewing you, and you know, the young guys that are in high school, I try to help them a little bit if I see them doing something wrong or whatever, you know. And they know who Bumstead is. They have no clue who Big Ramy is. You know, they're all big fans of the classic physique and so on and so forth. I don't know why. The younger generation is more fans of the classic physique, maybe because it looks more attainable. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's the art side of it too, right? Like it's people like to be artistic and express themselves in some way. So maybe they feel like through the posing they can express themselves, and maybe the image just fits like with the you know, like you said, more attainability of it. But for someone like myself, I couldn't even fit into the weight class. I'm 5'6". I have to be like 170. I wouldn't look right at 170.
Yeah, right.
My body just wouldn't look right at it. So for me to be like, man, I really want to be classic physique, I'd have to look at myself and be like, I would not be the best bodybuilder I could be. You know, if I was coming up today, I wouldn't be the best bodybuilder I could be. Maybe it could be a road to, you know, you enter class physique and then you move on up 212 to body, like Brett did, you know, classic to 212 to open. Yeah. It could be a pathway that way. But I respect it. I think it's awesome. And I mean, those guys display some freaky physiques too. Urs and Ramon, Terrence, along with Chris. They display some freakiness too, but freakiness in their own right, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, they come in chiseled to the bone.
Ridiculous.
They come in. They come in. I love what's his name.
Not a soft glute on stage.
No, it's unbelievable. They come in chiseled, you know, and you know, these young guys, you know, and the guys that are in their prime right now, and the young guys, they're putting in a lot of work. And I don't hear the older generation shitting on the new guys much anymore. That maybe like 2 or 3 years ago it was more of that. Yeah, and I don't see that happening too much anymore, because these guys are. Even, I don't know if you saw the interview, but Kevin Levrone, when he made his comeback, when he was backstage in the interview, he even said these guys are a lot bigger than when I was in my prime. You know?
And you got to be full in hard. Yeah, you know, like you got to be everything. And it's the combination of it all. And then it's like you said, it's just, you know, it took one person to really kind of, you know, I mean, set that to push the boundaries, and then it just keeps evolving.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what time do you have to be at work in the morning, or do you work from home? You're one of those lucky guys that work from home.
From home right now.
Really?
It's still it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So they have usually around like 8:30 is when I'm logged on to the computer and doing my thing. But I'm up probably around like 6, cardio in the morning, you know, get my routine going for the day. But yeah, that's when I'm log on for the computer, and then I'm off by probably around like 4:35 sometimes. I'll take my lunch break to train.
Right. Well, listen, man, I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me, and just tell all the people that's going to be watching this to subscribe, like, and share these great interviews from Serious and Silliness.
Of course. So everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the interview. I really appreciate John for having me on. So I'm going to need you to do me a big favor. I'm going to need you to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that good jazz, and stay tuned for more content from Serious and Silliness.
Thanks a lot, brother. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Listen, looking forward to seeing what you're going to be like. I have a feeling you're going to be one of the top guys up there. And I'm not the only one. Plenty of people are saying it. I really appreciate it.
And if you ever need me back on, I'm happy to come back on. I love shooting the shit with you, talking bodybuilding. It's really awesome to talk with a fan of the sport as well. and pretty sure we can get into some deep, good conversations.
No, you know what? We'll do that. I don't know if you know who Jason Owens is.
I've heard.
Yeah, he was pro. He's retired now, and him and I always do like a live stream, and we have like we do either previews or wrap ups, and maybe the next one you come on, like I don't know what we usually pick a show, and I'll
Sure.
message you and you come on and do it with us.
Please, I would love to. Thank you.
All right, Carlos, thanks a lot, brother.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too.